Good evening. Welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the Think Show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so called African American didn't find their way to America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the Indigenous One. And, on this platform, we're not about arguing, talking about dumb shit. We just want to give you some facts so you can see what's going on in the world today and to be able to place yourself in the world because this is a changing. And if we're stuck in the same stuff that you see with us every day, how we speak to each other and stuff, and just how we are, you have your top comedians calling your women bitches, and you just sniggle and giggle. That dumb shit should have been over. But tonight I want to share something with you. And and after you watch this is a 4-minute clip. It's just 4 minutes. And I want you to ask yourself, because when you hear the answers that I got from Negroes who's supposed to be conscious, you're going to understand why we say the day of the jigaboo is no more. You can pretend like you smart and you know something. That's going to show his face real soon. So I want to share this clip with you. 4 minutes, just give me a little time. And when we get back, we're gonna talk. When it's over, got a couple of questions to ask, and I really, really, really would like your feedback. Check this out.
I just want to address this comment because I think a very, very important point was being missed. So whilst I don't disagree with it, yes, these people, these beings, whatever, on this frequency have totally disconnected from source. So they can't create. So they have to invert everything and they have to get very, very clever with it. Just look at the way we all live, right? 9 to 5s, in mortgages, which we pay for our whole lives, pay tax on everything, stay in your house, don't move around. You don't get to really live until you retire. And then your bodies are so shot from all of the pharmaceuticals and the shitty food, which they've deemed normal, which you go and buy from your supermarket. What psyop do you think must have happened for this to be deemed normal? All the while, they made us look at the tribes who live free, who dance free, who sing free, who don't pay no taxes, who go and hunt their own food, who go and forage for their own food, look like the savage ones. Just look at the Native Americans, what they've done. They had everybody believing they was evil savages, barbarians. And because they had everybody believing it, it was very easy to wipe them out. Because everybody was looking at these people telling them this and going, oh, well, they're in authority. They have degrees. They're more intelligent than us, so we must listen. Totally bypassed what their body was telling them. And they've also had us believe that evil people are stupid, so you're not looking in the right places. But here's the thing, intelligence doesn't mean morals. It doesn't mean kindness. What sort of beings or people do you think it must have took to make us live the way we are living and deem it normal? Does that point to a stupid intelligence to you? And why do you think they're releasing all of these files all of a sudden? Because if you don't think this hasn't been going on for thousands and thousands of years, it has. People was talking about satanic cults and what they do to children and everything, and we all got deemed conspiracy theorists, crazy people. Some people even got locked up in mental institutions for telling people. So you've got to ask yourself, if they are now releasing it, what do you think is coming next? And if you keep looking at the people who are deemed more intelligent than you see it in the comments all the time. Somebody tries to speak on health or anything. Where's your degree? Are you a doctor? Are you a nurse? Just look what has been taught and put in your head. Everything to give your sovereignty away. And these next few years, if you keep looking at these intelligent people and you don't realize that they play both sides and they love you fighting over the right and left, thinking that there's actually a better side when there isn't, then you're going to be totally blinded to what is coming because you're going to listen to your eyes and your ears and you're going to bypass what your body and your gut is telling you, because everybody around you is going to be saying, no, 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 you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. And your mind is going to want to bypass what your stomach and your gut and your whole body already knows. So you have to stop looking with your eyes and your ears so much and start listening to your body. Get your nervous system in order. Because once your nervous system is in order and you can drown out all of the noise around you from what everybody's saying, and you can look at things and you can drop into your body and you can really understand what you're feeling, because your body always tells you, then you will be all right. Because there's going to be a lot of noise. A lot of noise. Just look what's happening now. So what do you think there is coming? And you need to learn to discern from all of the noise and start listening to your gut over your logical mind. And also get your nervous system in place so you don't go into paranoia and you don't go into fright or be scared. Because as long as those things are in order, then you'll be fine.
So, the question I want to ask, and I called a friend of mine, she's a female, and asked her what she thought of that. You know what she said? Hmm. So this is when I have conversations with people who are supposedly black, African American, Tom, Jigaboo, whatever you call them. You always get a real nasty answer. Hmm. You a fuck her. Always some stupid. So the question I want to ask you guys in the chat, and just seriously, I like some feedback on this. When you're talking to your average person out there, just anybody, co-worker, people in the store, blah, 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 do you have conversations with them like the conversation this lady was having? Beverly Martin, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Copper Color Lifestyle, thank you very much for all that you do. Do you have these conversations with people in your family? Because I heard no lie she told. I didn't hear nothing that she said would have me just ignore everything. I'm going to the club, nigga. I'm going on girls trip. So I shared it with a friend and I asked her, do you think those the kind of conversations I have with black or African American female? You know what her response was? Oh, you fuck her, huh? No, I'm just asking a question. This is psst, this all the time. Not every single contact, but that type of attitude, that type of being, that type of spirit. And I'm sure for females, just with the guys, it's the same way. Talk to a lot of people, y'all. Talk to a lot of people. And with this arm ticket that was just passed out 5 years ago, this is starting to work its way into the system. It's starting to have an effect on people right now. That's why we do these programs. Hopefully, if you're not listening, hopefully you have a child or something around that's picking it up. Because if our children are taught what these shines today are saying, what that lady just said, you won't make it. Your grandchildren won't make it. You can suck your teeth and roll your eye to that all you want. You see what's happening. And like the lady said, and it's nonchalantly didn't make a big fuss out of it. What do you think is next? Now that they're showing you this Epstein stuff, and it's been going on for a long time. And a lot of you blacks, African Americans, snitches, coons, whatever you want to be, remember this old saying, and your granddaddy told you this, your grandmama told you this, one of your aunts told you this, uncles, somebody around you said this to you. And if you say, I never heard that, if you say that, you wasn't listening. What goes around comes around. You ever get it? And you got to pay attention to cycles to get this, because most people don't pay attention to nothing. Every day, the sun is up. Every night is night. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. And if you don't recognize the cycles, you don't know. I didn't see it. If you don't know, if you, it's not going to be pretty, seriously. And that's just on everyday mundane shit that you do daily. What you think about that, Jay?
Well, here's the thing, Kerry. Thanks for having me on tonight. I've, I've heard it said my a certain podcaster because in that video what she's saying is the raw truth, but a lot of people don't want to hear the truth for obvious reasons because of the kind of spirit that they're bearing. But I do remember a podcaster once said that
Man,
what you
can you
could
speak up a little bit, man? We can't hardly hear you.
yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. There was one podcast that even mentioned it very clearly. He had once said, um, 2010, he told a investigative reporter that America was finished, and his reasons for it was obviously based on what he observed when he was doing what it is that he actually does. He said it was finished because he said the people are actually too stupid, too egotistical, and they just don't care. So when he said that, I could tell the host she was kind of apprehensive of why he was saying it, but I got what he was saying there. But she was looking for some smidgen of, I guess, hope or whatever. She might questioning him a little further, and he basically told her, he says, "I'm not here to actually speak what I speak for everyone, you know." And he went on to say that this is for the people who want to know. That's what he said. And I understood very well why he said it. So it's not for everyone. But what that young lady was saying in the video, you know, makes me go back to the time of when the originals of America knew, they knew better that it wasn't normal. I will use the word that she used for to put a price on the necessities of life, air, water, land. Now you go back forward to present. Look where we are. They literally have you paying tribute in order to live. When someone said that, you'll be paying for water years ago, they look at you like you were crazy for saying that. Now look at what's going on. They got it to the point now where you're literally paying for air, the carbon tax. Now that's completely sick. And we live in a sick world. We do. And those bearing the burden and the cause of that, I have to circle back to that meme you once planted a while ago where it said, you're not responsible for the programming you received when you were a child, but as an adult, you're 100% responsible for fixing it. So it's all about responsibility, Gary. Those that want to live responsibly and love freedom will do so. Those that don't want to be held responsible for their actions, they're met with the actual consequence of their choice. You know.
So,
And what that
so when
woman
the
was saying was
ladies,
true. Yeah, go ahead.
so when the lady said was talking about what they did to the Native Americans, what did you take from that?
She was telling the truth. That's exactly how they came. They came here with their religion. They came here, you know, for the express purpose of not assimilating with those that were already here. I look at it this way: when somebody's actually saying they discovered something that you already have access to, they intend to take it. You know,
Right,
that's the truth. They got this narrative of Columbus discovering America that automatically tells you where the mindset really is.
right.
So yeah, the whole purpose is to demonize those that you're trying to actually, you know, move out of the way.
So what I took from that when she said it, I knew she was talking about the Native Americans, but basically was talking about the majority of people that's here. And when you say, I'm gonna make you buy water, I'm gonna make you buy air, and most of the people, black people, African American, this is the whole world, y'all, but I'm saying African American because that's the other indigenous people here that they don't even question it. If you tell them they're that, they'll slap you in the mouth. They'll cuss you out. Trust me. They want to be Hebrew Israelites, Greeks, Christians, Moors, whatever flavor somebody come up with, instead of, like Jay was saying, being responsible and being themselves, they want to hop into another avatar.
You know,
Black is an avatar, but to be themselves, they won't do it. So, I'm just sharing this with you guys because it's a crowd that they get where I'm coming from. The average person is like, "What the huh? Look at this, the weekend of the Super Bowl. You got to be crazy talk about that."
you know, I said this before. I'll say it again. Most people they look to somebody to like lead them. You know, so when you look at the political machine on this planet, you see how these characters will play. They'll role play. They'll do it all day long too, 24/7, 365 days a year. They'll be your mommy and your daddy. They certainly most definitely will. But see, I realized, growing up, you know, only leaders I ever knew were my parents. After that, I had to grow up, you know. I can't emphasize that enough. You have to be responsible. If you think going to the polls, I've done it one time. I'm not going to lie. I did it one time. Yes, I did. I
Snitch.
thought about, I thought about it and says I'll never do that again. But you go to the polls and you pull that lever and you think you've done something by selecting um, your next mommy or daddy, or I'll say thief. You select your next one. So here it is. You got the character there that you voted for. You really did think you did something, not realizing that those candidates are members of ruling families. So it's not selected by your vote. They're not selected like that. They're selected by bloodline. Once you find that out, then you start to realize they'll play that game, that left wing, right wing narrative that people, you know, um, engage in. You keep forgetting it takes two wings for a bird to fly, not one wing. So it's the same group of characters that, and then you looking to them to tell you what to do with yourself. Once they got you like that, you're done. You're subjected to whatever comes down the pike from them dictating what you could do with yourself. That's what it comes down to. But no, you have a divinity within you, and it ain't furnished by some religion or some charlatan behind a podium telling you what something that you read from is really saying. It's within you. You got to access that side of you, that higher self, you know, the side of you that knows, not believes, knows. You
Knows.
gotta access it. You gotta, but you gotta be interested in that sort of thing. If you're not interested, look, the sky's the limit on what they can actually pull on you. And this is a majority of the people. You know, it's unfortunate that the majority of the people are what these ones in assumed and presumed power derive their assumed and presumed power from. The many.
So check this out. So this is what Beverly Martin just said to take us out. To take us out. I just watched a video where a girl is running along the beach. She booked her hotel along the beach and she's running not on the beach. She's running on the concrete behind the beach. And she said she'd been out for about 40 minutes and hadn't seen any beach yet because the beach is walled off from the rest of the island. The indigenous kids on the island can't go to the beach because all this money that, of course, comes from a huge amount of it comes from here. And all those places where those hotels wall off the beach from the population, that's all you do is you fund you fund from these same people that we're talking about, the same people that named you black, because you won't be who you are when they walked on this soil. You're going to be what they told you to be, right? That's one of the main ways they stay in power. Whatever they tell you you are, okay, boss, and we'll do anything to be that, right? We don't want to hear that stuff. We rather our kids go through it and our grandkids go through it rather than being responsible. and doing what we know we be supposed to be doing. Well, this is every single last one of us. You see all the Epstein stuff, like the chick said, this has been going on in your mama's time, your grandmama's time. And because we can't rely on each other, like I say, many of us want to be all different kind of people. People that are not even people, people that just somebody else wrote about. We want to be those characters. And get mad if somebody bring it up. I would suggest that you wouldn't leave this to your children, because all they're going to do is hand it off to their children, and they're going to hand it off to their children. And who knows, they may even hand it off to you. But like Macy Gray said, you got to get up out and do something. Because like the chick said, if they can show you these Epstein stuff now, and I've seen some of them, and many Negroes, blacks, African Americans act just like the people in the videos. I know you don't tell nobody. You've seen where that's gotten us.
You got some seemingly human types walking around. They're not even human. Now that will rock someone's world if they actually witness something like that. But it's a reality. It's stuff that's coming down the pike that's gonna actually terrify. There are people walking around that are living in fear already. If you say
So
boo, they just might drop dead in front of you. Fear is not an option you should have to go on living like that. Fear is not, it does you no good. But at the same time, being ignorant does you no good either. I'm sorry, you were going to say something, Kerry?
oh no, just ignorant. See, a lot of people, when you say ignorant, they say, why you calling me stupid? Ignorant doesn't, and this is what I mean. This is how far gone we are. Ignorant means just what it says. Ignoring. It don't mean stupid. It don't mean dumb. Dumbass means dumb. Ignorant
You,
doesn't
you,
mean that. Ignorant means ignore, rant, acting, pretending.
you
That's
cannot,
what
you
ignorant
cannot, you
means.
cannot develop properly when your mind is idle. There's a saying, I think it, I hate to reference the Bible because I know the Bible is a counterfeit to some other writings that it's drawn from, but supposedly it's from the Bible. An idle mind is the devil's playground. So when you have people who don't want to go further than what they've been, you know,
Told.
programmed with, you're subjecting yourself to all kinds of, you know, malevolent influences that doesn't serve you well. It's all about what serves you, what's proper. And when people don't want that, what can you do? You know, you could tell them, but if they don't accept it, you got to leave those kind of people alone, even if they're in your own family, unfortunately. Even though that word family means something else, kinfolk is more exact. But you know, you have to you bear the burden of your own development as an adult.
I hope everybody got that, because like he said earlier, We think we got these pseudo mommy and daddies around here to tell us what to do, like we can't figure out what to do on our own. I tell you one thing, if we supported each other like we supported them, guess where we'd be? Just think about that when you doze off to sleep tonight. If we supported each other like we support the immigrants, guess where we'd be? I don't know. Where would we be? If we bought from the Chinese like they bought from us, how would we? Well, how would we be? We, the majority of us. I'm not. I'm not saying all. I'm talking to you guys, minority. Not as far as people goes, but as far as audience goes. Nobody want to hear what we talking about. See, people don't like the truth. You can tell. The majority of them don't like it.
You
But
know,
go,
Carrie,
go ahead.
I want to touch on something that lady had said. She mentioned something about how they switch. They play both sides of the coin. There's a phrase that references that, and it's something that is played on the masses 24/7, 365 days a year. They call it Hegelian dialectic. You have a thesis, and then you have an antithesis, then you have a synthesis. In other words, those that are, operating, with pulling the strings of your puppet politicians, they play both sides of the coin, you know, to get the objective that they want, and they make you paint it green for them what they have decided as the fix between the antithesis, bad cop, good cop. It's got many different, variations, but it's identical. It doesn't matter north versus south, east versus west, black versus white, good versus evil, God versus devil, on and on, on and on and on. And it's right wing versus, left wing, all in the same bird,
Hey
same
man,
characters.
we got a visitor. Let's welcome Pan Mulattoism. Pan Mulattoism. What's going on?
Peace, family. How y'all doing?
Cool.
I hope all is well. And I do want to shout out the Accomack people of Virginia. And I'll get right to it. The reason I came up, um, in my estimation, mass immigration is comparable to neo-colonization. Or in other words, just as the whites, the Europeans, colonized our communities and ethnically displaced us, the immigrants are doing the same thing today. My question is, have you all come to the same conclusion, respectfully?
Let- uh, it's just this simple. If we didn't buy Chinese food, would there be Chinese people here?
Maybe it would be because they were here before we bought Chinese food from them.
That's that's the mulattoism, right?
Which part?
How were they? How were they here before they bought their food?
No, I said the Chinese were here before we bought their food, is what I said, brother.
So if we didn't buy their food, they wouldn't be here.
No, they were here before we bought their food from them. Or in
But
other words, before there was a carry out in our communities, Chinese were here, brother. Are you not aware of this?
So you buying their food didn't keep them here, didn't maintain them here. I realized that they were here before they start building stores and stuff. But if you
Exactly.
didn't, excuse me,
I said exactly. So you see my point.
no.
What
And
part are you confused about?
what part am I confused about?
Yes.
Can you
If you go,
define
if
what you
you,
mean by what you mean about like before we? Who you mean by we, and what
Yes. Yeah.
timeline are you using?
Exactly. I'm saying that before the Chinese opened up carryouts to sell food to the Aboriginal Americans, Chinese people were in the U.S. Are you aware of this? Actually, Chinese people were on this land before it even became the United States. You might not know that.
okay, we gonna do it your way now. We gonna go your way now since you want to take it there. Pan mulattoism. What is that?
Yes. Pan mulattoism, even though it's not the focal point of why I came up, but pan mulattoism is the acknowledgement of the genetic relation of all people that have a mixed ancestry of African and European descent globally.
And that means what?
It means exactly what I just said, respectfully.
You didn't say anything.
I said a lot.
Check this out, cuz.
Pete.
I know you think you whatever, but this is it. This isn't a place for people who are there. You have something inside of you called a soul. This is a
Yeah,
American page.
I
This is an
agree.
American page. It's not what you look like, it's what you are. There,
Exactly.
there are no black people. There are no white people.
I
They
said
are
nothing
people.
about black or white.
Dude, can you shut up and let somebody finish what they're saying?
Can you get
Can
some
you-
pussy? It'll help you.
See, that's where we are. That's what that's where we at.
He came in with his own agenda.
Right.
It went
So
from one subject to the next.
and that's what I was saying about showing the video of the lady when we first opened up. Do you have conversations like that with your people? No. That's what you normally get. Don't know what they're talking. Just don't know what they're talking about. That's how 90% of the population is. That's where most people are. That I would put my money on it, not a lot of money on it though, that person's not even human. I would take that bet. Can't even communicate. Get some pussy and you'll be really, dude. That cat has a mother and father. What you think his grandmama think of him? So you got to ask these questions. So when you talking to these shines, you got to ask questions because some people would think that's intelligence. Ask them a question, can't answer it. Dumb. Buh. One of your daughters gonna marry that. I'm just kidding. But that's where we are. No intelligence. Black. That's what black means. No intelligence, no light. That's what they you
Terry,
have to think of. Yes, sir.
you remember that piece I sent you that showed how Christianity became so popular, how it was obtained, what they did to spread it. You know, when you show that,
I remember it.
What's that?
Which one is it?
That's the one where it showed how they would like torture people. Now,
Oh,
the
the
episode,
one you're gonna have to email it to me because the text I can't pick it up on the text.
yeah, it's a screenshot. Anyway,
Oh yeah, well share the screenshot, dude. You can share.
you want me to share it? Let me see if I can do that. Hold on. I never tried it on here. Uh, the, was it the bottom or?
Copper Indio. If you're still there, was that thinking? Was that trifling, beyond trifling, stupid stuff? Is that? Is that what you're talking about? You know? And I'm cool. You can have the mic. We want to hear your thoughts. And that's all you got to give. So what the lady was saying in the video, that dude couldn't even comprehend it.
I don't think I can
Pay
share
attention
it.
to what's going on. What you say, dude? What you say?
I'm not sure if I could share it. I'm not set up for it, I guess.
Well, email it to me.
Oh,
And this is very important, y'all, because I know you guys see the change. You feel the change. You see the after effects of this clot shot. You see it. Do you think the guy who just got off the phone sees it? No, it's part of it. Pay attention to what's happening. They trying to get you with this AI. Pay attention to that because I know y'all see it. That AI. Look at it closely. Just don't look at it like you're looking at a commercial on TV and just let it fly by you. Look at it closely. Did you email that dude?
yeah, it's coming to you now.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
brought it
Pay
up
attention.
for a reason.
You said what?
I brought it up for a reason because
Okay. Well, I'm about to put it up now. I'm about to show it now. Uh, check this out, y'all. And this is what they was doing to your great, 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 great grandmamas. Check this out. Check this out. Go ahead with your commentary, sir.
yeah, I brought it up because they used to go to the chief and try to force the language, the religion in such a way on everyone. And if they said no, they would do similar things to what you're seeing in the picture. All right. And see, a lot of people caught up with their, perspe- perspective belief systems don't realize that that history, after a while, when several generations came forward, they give you the candy apple stuff, candy apple syrup stuff. So you never really, it never occurred that the trauma associated with that type of activity, completely demonic. And when you show this within their own text, you show this to people, and they don't respond in the manner that's rational. Even when you show it in the text, this kind of activity throughout the Bible, the Quran, you know, all this stuff, this programming that this planet, the people on it, the population, they've killed billions of people just to accept this shit, you know? And it slides by with the succeeding generations because they show the candy apple syrup either within the text or among its ministers, charlatan ministers. You know, so you can't literally rationalize. You don't have the discernment. You know, it's funny, Christians tell you to have discernment, but meanwhile they can't discern what's even in their own writings. You point it out to them and they just can't some know, but they turn a blind eye to it because the ego's too big, you know?
Yeah. Beverly says getting you to low vibrate at a low frequency. And that's what that woman on that stake is, vibrating at a low frequency. She's if she's not dead on that picture, she won't last too much longer. They probably threw her in the fire.
Well,
Edwin,
I
do me
have
a
to
favor.
read it
Yeah,
because it's
yeah,
horrible, but you know,
yeah. But I mean, but
basically,
yeah, but
right.
that's typical. I bet that goes on with these rituals they do now.
Yeah, it's going on. Believe me, it's going on. Stuff that you hear people talk about that have been traumatized, programmed, trauma-based programming. Maybe not like this one in the picture, because that's when you tend to kill the person. But
Right.
she didn't die. They when they did that to somebody, they didn't die right away. They screamed. These are demonic entities in this lower dimension that do stuff like that.
Oh, do me a favor. Can you show that list in the Bible what they do to children?
Or I'll send it to you.
You got that? You got that one?
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you. I'll send it to your email.
Can you just show it like you showing this?
You're the one that put it up there. I can't. I don't know. I don't have the ability.
Okay, it's cool. That's cool. So this is what I'm saying, y'all. This is the kind of stuff that the people that make you pay for water, the people who you call Lord, this is them. Anybody, even you mulattoism, come up and refute. Show us how it's not done. Show us that this is not
See,
what you do. Huh?
it's coming to you now.
Okay.
I had to bring it up because you know it's the largest psyops operating on the planet now. Psychological operation, and I'm telling you right now, um, mind control and hypnotic spells, they're real. I think Hitler's propaganda minister was his name, Richard Goebbels. He even said it. He said, "You tell a lie, a big lie. You repeated it multiple times. People will come to believe it." That's hypnosis 101. You keep repeating it.
You keep repeating
That's
it.
how you. That's how you hypnotize a whole population by doing that.
Okay. So Edwin shared this with me today, and this is where I like to get some audience involvement. See if you're thinking. Check this out. So this is stuff I would share with my mom. This is stuff I would share with my mom. And she would just fluff it off like it didn't mean nothing, like most people do today. This your average person now. This is the average person that go give money to the church and give out that stale ass food. This is in the Bible. So when anybody tells me they Christians and all that stuff, I immediately have some questions to ask, and they never answer them. But one of the things in the Bible, I asked them, any Christian, I asked my mother this when she, and she told me she was just trying to fit in. She wanted to feel like she was part of something. These demons? That's the best you can come up with? For real? So check this out. You can go to the you can get, if you got somebody got a Bible in the house, your grandmama left you one, somebody go read, just read it.
Especially Deuteronomy. You read that. Oh my goodness.
Right.
You
Just
know.
read it. It's
You
just
know.
like the guy. It was just like the guy who was just here. He couldn't answer no questions. That's how those people are. Remember that when you meet somebody at the club. Remember that. They don't answer questions, but want you to answer them. Now, I got this list earlier. This, and I'm sure this is just a truncated list. Ways to kill your children in the Bible. So you're starting to notice now that some words are trying to be taken out of circulation, like black, white, key, all that. All these words are being. Why? It's an important question, y'all. Why are these words being taken out of context, Edwin?
When you're getting ready to dumb down a whole population, that's what you do. Far worse than you've ever, came across with. They do this every time when they do their reset, or what you call inquisitions.
If your words can be controlled, your thought is controlled. I know you all know that. If you don't, catch up. These are ways to get rid of your children in the Bible. Do you think all these Christians, and don't think it ain't a lot just because these churches are closing, those are smart ones who getting out of there. You still got some diehards in there. The book they have tucked under their arms, where they get their basic instructions before leaving Earth. Don't you? Ain't that what you do? And you can just get basic instructions from. Now, on this list is more. I'll make the screen bigger in a minute. But check these out. Edwin, can you help us out with them?
Say again?
Can you help us out with them?
Do it what?
The list.
Oh, you want me to read it off?
Yeah. And then let's talk about each one. How are they done today?
Hold on. I want you to know that's an abbreviated list. I hate to say that, but it really is an abbreviated list, There's some verses that's not in there on that list. So Ezekiel 5:10, fathers should eat the sons. Genesis 19:24, set them on fire. Exodus 12:29, smite them all dead. Deuteronomy 21:21, stone them to death. Nahum 3:10, smash them in the streets. Matthew 19:29, abandoned them, Revelations 2:23, killed them with death. Now, mind you, now this is supposed to be the Most High, the one and only. If you were to take the Bible narrative, who can do anything, has the power to do anything. This is what's being done in the scriptures. Actually condoned, to tell you the truth. But you're talking about wars, you know, colonization, war, all that's in the Bible, colonization and war. All right. Um, Hosea 9:16, slay them in the womb. Numbers 5:11 through 22, poison them in the womb. All that's abortion, by the way. So remember, when you have a Christian at an abortion protest, remind them of that. 38:24, burn their pregnant mother. Hosea 13:16, dice them up with swords. Genesis 6:7, drown them. That would be the flood. 2 Kings 2:23 to 24, have bears mauled them. 1 Samuel 15:2 through 3, slay them. Numbers 31:16 through 18, kill them any way you can. That Numbers book also has a pedophile verse in there, just so you know. That's in there. I think it's, which one is it? It might be that one, if you read it carefully. Isaiah 13:15 through 16, dash them to pieces. Ezekiel 9:5 through 6, slay them. Jeremiah 19:9, eat them. Cannibalism. Leviticus 26:29, consume them. Same thing, cannibalism.
So do you think, because all those are happening as we speak, we send our men, our sons and daughters over to make sure that that happens, don't we? We always thank you for your service. Isn't that what we do? Seriously. And so this is what I'm saying. These are things we don't like to think about and talk about, but it's what you do. And I've heard a lot of times it's not what you say, it's what you do.
I just
See,
want to
it's
read
like
the
the
comment above it, that the person that posted that,
uh-huh.
and it's fair. I mean, what he's saying is definitely, it's a fair question, because I can't imagine anything more evil than God's will towards children. Pretty sick and twisted deity you choose to worship. This is the teaching of the book you live your lives by, and wonder why it's rejected. There you have it. We're supposed to know better than that.
Way better than that. So these things that they're showing on there, how are they done today? So let's say this book was written 100 years ago. Fast forward 100 years. How do fathers eat their sons today? I mean, it may not be putting a little gasoline on the ground and putting them in the middle of gasoline and throwing a match on them. It may be not be so graphic, but there's a way to do it. Smite them all dead. Like I said, that's abortion. So a
Yo,
lot of people won't even look at it like that. Boy, you crazy. Stone a kid to death? Isn't that what's done over in the Middle East?
yeah,
Smash them in the, huh?
these
You said
wars
what?
opened the, sorry, These
No, go
wars
ahead.
opened the door for that kind of stuff.
Right. Smash them in the streets, abandon them. Black man.
Hey, Kerry, you remember the journalist Seymour Hersh?
Yes.
Now, he covered around the time of Vietnam, and they hated that journalist because he would basically report what the eyewitnesses were stating when he did the report. So he had
Right.
characters in there that were in the service, in the army, and they basically testified to him what they were doing in this one scenario, which they thought was an isolated case. No, it was going on throughout during that time on the same day because the army had a quota to make in terms of the death count. They started going on to the civilian populations, and they did do those very things. And he
You know,
reported that.
so this is directed to the audience. Seymour Hersh. If you want to find out a lot of stuff that the United States government has done all over the world, check out some of his writing. Seymour Hersh.
They
Seymour, Seymour Hersh. H
they
E
hated that
R
guy
S.
with a passion.
Yeah, check him out. Hersh. Herche. You know how they Hirsch. The name is Hirsch. I might be spelling it wrong, but he's a Jewish dude out of Chicago. Ask your fathers, uncles, brothers, cousins if they've been to Vietnam. Ask them seriously and deeply about their experience in Vietnam. A lot of them are trying to laugh it off, and you know how we coon and don't want to talk about nothing. Get them where they really talk about it. They'll bring tear to your eyes. Go smash them in the streets. Matthew 19:29, abandon them. Revelation 2:23, kill them with death. You know they got a drink now called liquid death.
Serious?
Deuteronomy. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, and it looks like a big seller.
Oh yeah,
Uh Hosea 9:16, slay them in the womb. Abortion. Numbers 5:11 through 22, poison them in the womb. Birth control, don't they got a new pill or something, some kind of patch or something? This is the cold one. Genesis 38:24, burn their pregnant mama. They trying to make orphans for sure. Huh. Hosea 3:16, nice dice them up with swords. This is your Lord. This is your Lord and Savior now talking. 1 Samuel 15:2 to 3. Slay them. 2 Kings, 2. This is how you know. This is really when you get to know that this is total bullshit. 2 Kings 2, 23, 24. Have bears maul them. They have bears in the desert. This is what I mean about most, they can't even read. Bears aren't in the desert. These are instructions for you to do. They're instructions for you to do. And guess what? You do them on command. Amen. Ain't that what you seriously? I'm not saying people in the audience, of course not.
every time you support the troops, you do. I mean, all these wars, all of them are mass murders. That's what they are. What's the difference between? It's amazing because you'll see them advertise on the news when some random shooter shoots up a place they call it mass shooting. But what about these wars? I mean, let's be
Thank
realistic
you
about
for your service.
it. You don't call that mass murder? I mean, come on,
Yeah,
and for those that think, oh, it's just the military. No, the civilian population gets the brunt of that death toll. And if you don't believe it, I'll name off some cities for you: Berlin, London, Paris, Nagasaki, Hiroshima, Hanoi, Saigon, Baghdad. I'll go on and on.
just kill them any way you can.
So all these wars, they're not what you think they are. They're not for the reasons that you've been told, and they're not actually serving the population at large. Not one bit.
Not
And these are the
once.
kinds of people you vote for, that send your daughters and your sons to their death. Like William Cooper in that book he wrote. He says it's interesting how you can get parents to take their son, who they purportedly love, send them off to war to his death.
And act like you're doing the noble thing, the noblest thing. Here
So
we have
things like that, when you consider society as a whole, why you think they even show you all these violent movies for? That's to desensitize you. That's why they show it like that. You get used to it, and it becomes the norm. And then you watch the news, and you get some more of it, and it desensitizes you to the outrage of the activities that's going on.
we have a listener who's with us all the time joining us. Beverly, how you doing tonight? Your mic.
Uh, Beverly John, or you talking to me? Sorry.
Upper Indio, I'm sorry.
Hey, no worry. I meant to apologize. I sent a message in the chat earlier. I was driving and couldn't respond, but uh, yeah, just to make a couple of points, just to add to what we were talking about just now. I, my great uncle served in World War II in Korea, and I learned a lot about his life because he was very quiet about it. You know, a lot of our elders and older people in the family are quiet about a lot of things, and especially traumatic things that they go through. And I found out a lot about his life from what he was telling me later. You know, when he got older, he's in his 80s, and he was talking about a lot of what he saw, and I was amazed, and I almost wanted to write a book about him because it was so profound, the things that he had seen. And I think you're absolutely right that these wars are not what we're told that they are. The things that are going on, the reasons why these wars are waged. As a matter of fact, the reason why these people came here, to go a little bit earlier in the conversation, they came here because the same sickness that they're putting on us was put onto them with usury, with banking practices, with funding wars. All of this stuff sent refugees here. We're dealing with the same problem now as the United States of America that our people were when these people first showed up. Some of them were running from war as refugees. Some of them came over here to take over. When you guys were talking about discovery a little bit earlier, I was taking notes. But the way they use that term discovery is the same way they do when you're in the legal system. Because you know when you go to court, especially for a criminal case, you have discovery. Discovery is to survey all the evidence that's there. So what they were doing was they came over to survey. It's when they brought the cartographers and they were making maps and all these other things. And the Jesuits had come over. I don't want to get the channel in trouble or nothing, so I'm gonna try to keep the language as clean as possible as far as trigger words and stuff for the algorithm. But they came over here and they surveyed and they made maps. They took notes. They talked to people. They documented things. That was the discovery, to lay out what was here to take, because the point was to take the people, enslave them, kill them if necessary, take the resources, use them, get rich off of them, and take the land so that you can control how everything is manufactured and used and monetized. That's how we got to a place where we would monetize, where our water and our air, like you talked about earlier, is monetized, because that's the system they use. We didn't have money the way that they know it, that we understand it today. Yeah, you had tribes had wampum, sure. We had valuable things, absolutely. But this is where our people wore gold, because gold was so plentiful and we had such an abundance of it. We weren't that worried about it. These people saw it and their jaws dropped, because gold was money to them. We had no concept in the way that they do. But anyway, I don't want to meander too much. But just to say that, and also to say that the same thing that brought them here is what we're dealing with now, because these wars are getting started by the same people that have for thousands of years done the same stuff that we're seeing in these files that are being released now that everybody's paying attention to. In part, it's a distraction, because while we're paying attention to that, a whole bunch of other things are getting set up. The world is being set up like a chessboard to play a bunch of things out, to do the same thing to us that they did 400, 500 years ago. And so the general population is being distracted by that stuff. And part of my comment earlier was, we got dudes like the guy that was up here earlier. Everything has to turn into sex. Everything has to turn into dysfunctional relationships and trifling nonsense. It gets whittled down to that. That's what our discourse is with our people, while the rest of the world is preparing for war and preparing for economic fallout. So when all of this goes down, we'll be looking around like, what's going on? Ignorant, like we were talking about earlier, right? This is they want us like this, because they know that our people are the ones equipped to save this place. Our people are from this place. Our people are the ones who have the ability, not from some weird religion or nothing crazy like that, but from that which created us, from the soil we came from. We're the people that have a responsibility over this land. We're the people who should be in control of what happens to this place, but we're not. We've given it up to everyone else. The same way the politicians here gave the treasure and the resources of this country to the rest of the world. The same thing they were doing since they got here, taking the stuff here, giving it out to the rest of the world. I'm sorry for the rant, but I was taking notes earlier and wanted
Brother, you're not
to share
ranting.
that.
This is what I mean, intelligent conversation. This is what I mean. You're not ranting at all. Please continue.
I appreciate it. There's some things I'm noticing as well. Because as you know, Brother Kerry, as you study history, you start seeing things that happen now, and you start seeing patterns that resemble things that we saw hundreds of years ago. The Dutch came over with tulip bulbs. They would find them here. They would bring some from Europe, and they would trade them like money, as a commodity, but like money. They're doing the same thing with these cryptocurrencies. So they're making this stuff so attractive and gain so much value so that people get into them. I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing to do if that's what you choose to do, but at the same time, there's a pattern here. All of this stuff tanked because when those files came out, they attributed the people in those files with the people that started Bitcoin. So all of this stuff got liquidated. So people who got into the crypto market lost their shirt. And then yesterday, and then today, now all of that stuff came back. All that money came flooding right back in after people sold it off. Because that's what they do. The same way they came over, and like I was saying with the Algonquins who were trading wampum on the East Coast, they came over and figured out, okay, these people find this stuff valuable, so we can buy their stuff with these shells. So they started aggregating them, coming up with large quantities of them, and then buying our stuff out from under us. Next thing you know, our people are in debt. What do you think they do to people in debt? They put them in a bond. And so all of this stuff, like the fella that was on earlier talking about Africans and mixed people and all, sure that happened, some of it, but at the same time, let's keep the focus. Let's not get distracted with nonsense. A lot of those people, and I a long time ago, I did a thing on with some of the people that I knew. We did a thing on the Pequot War. They waged total war, like the Chinese are waging against us. They waged total war against the tribes up there in Massachusetts, the Algonquins in the New England area, the Pequot. When they took those people, those prisoners of war, they sent them to Jamaica. And a lot of them people are still there. And the world refers to them as black people. But those are Pequot. If you see a Pequot helicopter, okay, what color is it? See, these are things they show you in symbols. They don't tell you what it is, but they show you. That Pequot, the weapons of war, the Pequot that they have is blue-black. They're showing you the symbol, but they won't tell you what that represents. They won't tell you why they name so many weapons of war after us. Why they have Tomahawk missiles? Why they have Pequot helicopters? Why they have Apache helicopters? Why are these weapons of war named after our people? Why are these weapons of war named after the indigenous people of the Americas? Because they knew who the baddest were. They knew who the people that when it was time to go to war, they went to war and they weren't playing. So they used that reputation that they got from us around the rest of the world. The last matter of fact, in recent news, the last of the Cherokee code talkers passed away this past week. Look whose language they use to fool and get around not only the Germans but the Japanese. They use our languages because nobody had languages like them in the world. There's something special about our people. There's a lot that's special about our people. And if we only understood it and took the time to study it, we would be better people for it. We would be the people that the world needs. We would be the people that this country needs, that this civilization needs. But we can't because we too busy talking about who banging who and who need to get laid and this and that and the other. It's nonsense. And that's what they
Brother,
want us to people. I'm sorry.
see, this is what I'm talking when I shared the piece when we first started of a young lady talking.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we should have it. Talk about stuff that makes sense, you know?
Absolutely. I agree.
So, brother, I appreciate I appreciate you coming up and giving us a little bit. Please, if we could, I would, like to get you to, hear you talk about the peacock, the peacock. I like to hear
Mhm.
that. I'd like to hear that conversation. So you come back and share it with us at some time.
Absolutely. And absolutely. I'm always glad to talk with you guys, especially you and your community, brother Carrie. Always, always welcome.
Cool, man. Well, listen, I'm about to go to bed.
Same here.
I hear you, homie. Thanks a lot, man.
All right. Thank you.
All right, have a
Thank
good
you guys
night.
for listening. You too.
Peace.
Thanks. Bye.
This is all I'm saying, y'all. This is how we should be conversating with each other all the fucking time. Give me something that I can use to make my life better, and I'll share something with from me that'll make your life better. Jay, any final thoughts, man?
Keep your frequency high. Stay away from the drama, and keep working on yourself. That's all I could say. Because
Well,
it's
thank you
it's a
very
rough
much.
ride right now.
You said what?
Because we're in for a rough ride. That's why I said that.
Yes, sir. You're absolutely right. So, man, thank you for hanging out with me tonight, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So, listen, we're gonna go ahead and end it right here. Go. I know it's Super Bowl weekend. Everybody getting ready. Guys, have a good weekend. Remember, spring's right around the corner. It's gonna clear up soon. Hope you're ready for spring. You guys have a good night. See you next time. Peace.